Welcome to the after party. That's right. The Steelers preview 2.0, basically our second part of the show. We did this because for those of you that like to just hear nothing but Steelers talk, well, that's for the first part where we just outline the entire 2019 season. But for those people that like to hear sometimes it's personal stuff. Sometimes it's like, I don't know why everyone's so enamored with the fact that I shaved my face. I mean, good Lord, I swear. We did this on Wednesday, and I had shaved, and when I was on with yesterday with Lance for the Standard, everyone's like, oh my gosh, Jeff, you shaved. You look so, I was like, I just shaved my face. I could grow the beard back in like a week and a half. So just calm yourself down. I did shave my face. So anyways, this is the after party. Welcome to the after party. Bryan, you wanted to get us kicked off, right?
Well, first of all, can I get a whoop?
Not kicked off.
Can I get a whoop?
No.
You know, I cannot cabbage patch. I've always tried, but it's the after party, so I can do it here.
Hey. 1 minute in. We're not even 1 minute in.
Gosh,
I want to bring up what Knapp says earlier. I forgot about what was the best nickname or what was the best slogan from this past season. I mean, Bryan, you gave us so many good slogans.
I've yet to see T-shirt money, but that's okay.
I got a cousin who has a T-shirt company. I'm working on it. Trust me, I'm working on it. I mean, we had Touchdown Zone, which is legendary in its own right. We had Seattle Seahawks have 2 losses.
They did.
At the time, yeah. He was facing out so bad during the stat geek. Because some of you, Bryan, Seattle does have 2 losses.
It's so nice to know I can hold your attention, Bryan.
That's called getting caught with your pants down. You're just like, whoa.
We had 2 a.m. Hashtag 2 a.m. Hashtag just take it. Wang Harbs is certainly up there. And then we have the old standby, Mr. Third and Fifth, butt naked and robbed.
Oh,
Benny
Chris
No
Boyd.
Jets.
And Chris Boyd brings up no soda for you.
No soda for you. Yeah,
that
was another one.
My Randy Fiedner rant. No soda for you.
Randyland. Wang Harbaugh.
Randyland.
I would love to get a shirt like where it's Randy Fiedner's head is like kind of flopped open. And it's just like nothing but a Kennywood scene up in his head. Welcome to Randyland.
Where you do like the Wally World font.
There you go. Yeah.
Randyland.
And no one's in it.
Sorry, folks. Park's closed.
What would be your guys' favorite saying from the past season? Dave?
Oh,
Since Bryan thought of all of them.
Yeah, I'm still stuck on the touchdown zone. I don't know that we're ever going to move past that one.
I don't know. Hashtag 2 a.m. Hashtag just take it. Just because it was the whole rant leading up to that. Like if you're just listening to this show, you just stumbled upon it and you're like, what are they talking about? 2 a.m. and just take it. You have to go back and listen to the entire rant where he talks about how the 2019 Steelers are like that girl that you call at 2 a.m. and she's not the prettiest, but she gets the job done.
We don't need to re-hashtag it.
You're not proud of it. You don't put it on your Christmas card. That was the November 12th episode of the preview. If you do want to go back and watch that. I also did. Yeah, I also challenged Baker Mayfield to a fight, which I feel bad because I'm not a violent guy. And
you also got undressed one time during the show.
Yeah, well, that was during the 2 a.m., but that was not provocative. It was just like me. I was wearing a Boy Scout shirt, and I did not. I mean, a uniform, and I didn't want to besmirch the uniform because I knew I was going to talk about trying to canoodle with less than with homely women back in the 90s.
Well, here's a story that has not been told yet. But when we got these microphones, and they're called Blue Yeti microphones, they're considered one of the best podcasting microphones. Are you laughing at what I'm about to say,
I
Brian?
know my text.
Yes, Brian sent a text and said, "I once dated a girl they called Yeti."
Well, I hung out at UTJ at Pitt Johnstown.
I don't want to know where you were hanging out.
No,
You
I
were
hung
hanging
out
with the women.
I loved hanging out at the women's volleyball and basketball house. I hung out there. I like tall women.
Oh my.
Well, big or small, BD bad loves them all. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh, Melvin disapproves. I was like, whoa, not Yeti. It was the 90s. Man, it was a difficult time.
I thought someone was about ready to say, wait a second, I married that girl.
Gyro says Bad's an interesting human. You have no idea. No idea. Okay. All right. Go ahead there, Brian, with you were going to talk about.
Okay, so Christmas just passed, and sometimes, especially when you're dealing with family members, they're going to latch on to something that they know you like, and it's a safe gift, and they get it for you every year. And a lot of people, every year I know I'm getting 3 or 4 things that are black and gold and have the Steelers. One year I got, this was, I think it was like 1995. I got a crocheted Steeler fly swatter. It was really bizarre. And I would get anything with Steelers just because it has the Steelers on it. So I was just want to see what people got as far as Steeler gifts, because I'm sure each and every one of you, especially if you're on this show, if you're in the live chat on this show, or as we were talking about with the preview, you're a real fan because the season's over. So you're a diehard fan. So I know everybody got something probably Steeler related. So I want to know what it is. So go ahead and put it out there. And what's the most bizarre Steeler gift you've ever received? I could honestly say that my parents and my sister, they would, if there was like a Steeler enema kit or a Steeler suicide machine that had the Steeler logo on it, they'd be like, Brian would love this. It's got the Steeler emblem on it. Yeah, let's go for it. That's because I guess I'm synonymous with the Steelers. So with my family. So guys, did you get anything Steeler related this year?
I told you, you asked before going on the air. I got a Steeler mug from one of my children. And the craziest thing, I don't get a lot of crazy Steeler stuff. I get very functional stuff. I have a ton of t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, hooded sweatshirts, you name it, hats. I don't have the enema kit like you, Brian, or anything like that. But I will say, though, for me, I'm a golfer, and I'm a pretty serious golfer. And it's not intentional, but I sometimes will get like those 3-pack of Steeler golf balls, but they're not any golf ball that I would ever use, a Steelers toilet seat cover. That's nice, Wes. And I feel bad because people, like my wife, will say, "Well, why don't you take those Steeler golf balls?" I'm like, I'm not using those golf balls. She goes, "Why not?" I was like, they're awful. I'll just keep them here in my office or whatever because I'm a serious golfer. So that's probably the worst Steeler gift I've ever gotten. But that's just because it's a golf thing, I guess, if you don't know. So what about you, Dave? What'd you get?
Well, what's interesting about the golf thing is that Jeff would not use the Steelers golf balls because they're not high quality enough. I would not use the Steeler golf balls because I would think that they are too high quality and too expensive to actually hit with a club. So
they weren't even a name brand. And then the gold was like this New Orleans Saints gold. It wasn't even the yellow that it showed up. They were awful. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I will use the cheapest golf ball I could find because chances are it's ending up in the bottom of a water hazard. So this year I got some good Steelers stuff. I got a new Steelers shirt that says, I wore it last Thursday, that says Faith Family Pittsburgh Football. But I just put them on today. I got a steering wheel cover and a seat cover for my one vehicle, but the best present I got this year, and it's actually changed a lot with my sleep pattern, is I got where my wife and daughter, it's funny what you guys made fun of when they said you can't go in the bedroom. There's something going on in there. When I came home that night, they were working on my homemade Steeler blanket that I have a 9 foot long Steeler blanket, and it is just so comfortable that I can just give me that blanket, any seat in the house, and I'm out cold.
You catch the early flight home from San Diego to find
a naked man
Steeler.
A 9 foot Steeler blanket
from San Diego.
All right, Brian, what about you? What'd you get?
Actually, this year I got the Hallmark Juju Smith-Schuster ornament. I received the not as much as I usually get, but I received a really nice vest, a Steeler vest, which I have to maybe drop a couple LBs to zip it up, but it's a winter vest. It's really nice, and I think that's about it. I usually get a lot of stuff. And I gave a gift to myself, the Duck Hodges jersey, which I'm going to re-gift if I get a chance. But actually, that'll go in the archives. But I don't think that I got anything else. But I usually get a lot of Steeler stuff. One year, and I want to bring this up because one year, I'd say, maybe 15 years ago, it was Ben's rookie season, and I was dating a woman at the time that she went out and got Ben's autograph. He was at the Circuit City in Johnstown, and she got an autograph and had him sign on a piece of quilt that she made this beautiful Steeler quilt, and the other side had the NFL helmets, and he had Ben sign it. She had Ben sign it, and I have this to this day. And when I broke up with her, she asked for it back, and I refused. I would not give. She's like, well, I could probably sell it to charity and raise some money. I'm like, no, I'm keeping this because I wanted to. It was the gift.
It's like on Wedding Crashers. It's like on Wedding Crashers when he wouldn't give the painting back. He says, "No, Todd, this was a gift. I'm going to keep it."
Wedding Crashers is great.
All right, I have a couple super chats to get to here. Shields and I, we have the super chats and more super chats in the late after party. Anywho, Shield 91 says, "Hey guys, I've been missing all the shows because of the holidays. Thanks for the continued content. I go back and listen to every one. Cheers. Thank you, Shield. We appreciate that." See if I can find. There we go. Michael O'Malley puts $5 in as well. He says, "Happy New Year's. I have a Steelers golf bag, and I guess that's a bag, and custom cleats. There you go. I've never been much into mixing my hobbies. We'll put it that way. It's like I have a couple of Steeler golf shirts, but I golf with golf stuff, and I root for the Steelers with Steeler stuff. That's just
I have a Steeler ball marker that clips onto my hat. You know, that you mark your ball for the green. It's a Steelers logo.
Oh, I have a ball mark, the Steeler ball mark. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. Wes has a serious question. So Jeff, Bad, Dave, who is your favorite all-time Steeler? Favorite all-time Steeler. Who wants to go first?
Brian does.
No, I don't. I don't.
I'll go. This is easy for me. It's Ben Roethlisberger. Mm-hmm. I can easily say that it was Ben Roethlisberger. I can tell you who I liked at each stage of my life, but no player to date have I really clung to and said, this is like the ride or die guy. I'm going to love this guy. I'm going to get all his jerseys. I knew he was going to be around for a long time. He might have tested that a few times, but ultimately Ben Roethlisberger for me was my all-time favorite. So what about you guys? Good, Dave.
I'll go. If it's not Ben Roethlisberger, then it's Troy Polamalu. because I have to go with someone that I actually watched play. It's easy to say one of the old time guys, but I'm sticking with people that mean so much to me then. And Troy Polamalu was just so exciting to watch, and I even loved his personality and everything off the field. That got to go with Troy.
It's tough to argue against that. I mean, what about you, Bryan? You know yet?
Yeah, I have to go with two because of different eras. The first one, I'm going to go with Iron Mike Webster.
Wait a second. He didn't say who is your different era favorite player. You're pulling a Dave Schofield here. Who's your favorite all-time Steeler? Steeler?
It would have to be Iron Mike then.
There you go.
Mike Webster is the question. He was the guy for me.
He was a monster.
Yeah, he was something else.
He was a monster.
But I could probably give you 7 more just from that Super Bowl team because I love Mel Blount and I love Elsie Greenwood and I love Terry Bradshaw and I love Franco. I love all those guys. But if I have to pick one, Mike Webster.
Jeff, I have a follow-up question for you.
Sure.
What was your favorite Steelers player as a kid? And I'm saying as a kid, I'm going to go 12 years and under.
12 years and under. Well, I wore in 7th grade, I wore number 29 for Barry Foster.
That would have been
Barry
about
Foster.
13 because you're usually 12 in 6th grade.
Okay, so before Barry Foster, I loved Greg Lloyd. I loved Rod Woodson. I used to have this Pro Line. Remember those Pro Line stuff? A Pro Line windbreaker. Said Steelers on the front, Woodson and 26 on the back. That was always one of my favorite items to wear to school every day. I just loved watching that team. You know, I was never a huge Neil O'Donnell guy. This was well before 1995. Just was never that crazy about him. Loved Yancey. Yancey Thigpen was fun to watch. He was exciting.
One of my first jerseys that I bought.
But I got to be honest, when Cordell Stewart came on the scene, I was infatuated with Slash. Because when he was Slash, and I've said this on the show before.
So exciting. It was so exciting.
When he was Slash and not a quarterback, he was absolutely enthralling to watch. You tuned in because you just never knew what was going to happen.
What are they going to do next? So
exactly.
I'm going to say, as a kid, my favorite was, and part of this was because my youth league football team was the Steelers, and they did not make you wear a number based on your position. And I was number 83.
Louis.
Because I loved Louis Lips.
Yeah.
And then I got to meet him at one of the draft parties. So that was nice too.
You know, another one of my favorites was always Gary Anderson. And I had the opportunity when I was on the radio station. I was doing a morning show in 1994. And it was, I think, his last season in Pittsburgh. And Nationwide Insurance would have him go around to I guess it was like the prom promise type deal where you would go promise not to drink on prom night and not drink and drive. And so he would come around and they called me at home and they said, "Hey, we just landed for the morning show." And this was a top 40 morning show. We landed Gary Anderson. So I came in the next day. I didn't bring anything to autograph. I just wanted to see this guy. And I was so excited for work. And I went in and they finally put it over to me. And he was in the same room as me in this small little studio. And I said, "I got to tell you, I was 11 years old. Your first game against the Dallas Cowboys, you had like 4 field goals on Monday Night Football, week 1. And I was so excited to watch you play. I remember waking up the next day and said to my dad, I'm like, we finally found our kicker. And then I got on the bus to go to 6th grade. And he looked at me and was like, oh my God, 6th grade. But well, Gary was my guy for a long time because he was automatic.
And you've talked to a lot of these guys, Bryan, at signings and different things like that. So you have a little bit different of a experience in that regard. So,
but you always got to remember, of course, Bryan's going to do a kicker because, the same guy that asked who's your all-time favorite Steelers punter. I mean, come on.
All-time. Did I ask that question before?
Yeah, you did.
Who did I say?
All-time favorite. Probably Daniel Sepulveda. He was
it wasn't Sepulveda.
It was Josh Miller. It was Josh Miller.
I think I did say Josh Miller, but I am a Craig Colquitt fan as well.
I don't know. Jeff doesn't have a favorite punter.
Not Jordan Berry, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks Mean Joe gives us $10 and says, will the Steelers do any free agency signing or trading to help fix the offense during the offseason? Come on, Mean Joe. That's for the Steelers preview. But
$10, we'll answer that question.
We'll answer that one. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be movement there, in my opinion, Mean Joe. I mean, you're going to have players leaving and coming over from different teams. Free agency, I guess the question you have to ask is what position are they going to target? Will it be a pass rusher if they lose out on Bud Dupree? I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to at least franchise tag him. I don't see any trades necessarily. I'm really curious, and Dave, I don't know, have you heard anything about this club option on Vance McDonald?
Yeah, they have a
how much is it worth though?
I don't know. I just saw that when because we have an article running in the morning that's all the different free agents, the different types they are. And that was the one thing that says that there's a club option for Vance McDonald. I could look it up, but I didn't care enough to know. I know they'd save several $1 million if they don't bring him back next year. And Bryan he hates Vance McDonald so much he walked out on the show. But if the Steelers do any kind of free agent signings, it's going to be tier 2, tier 3 type guys. They're not going to have those top tier guys. That's not generally what they do. But Steven Nelson was considered more of a tier 2 guy, and look at that.
Let me digress.
He was a day one acquisition, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Was he day one?
I mean, they picked him up on day one of free agency, I believe.
They hadn't done that since Ladarius Green.
Let me disagree with you, Dave.
Lardarius.
Lardarius, the poor guy. Here's why I disagree. You don't have a number 1 pick this year, so you're going to be looking a lot more heavily in free agency. One thing that I was concerned about the other day when Mike Tomlin said right away, Mason Rudolph is our guy at number 2. It kind of makes me worry because I really want a veteran guy in there. Maybe at number 3, or I want a guy like, I don't care how much he cost. I want a guy like Case Keenum. I want a guy like Matt Moore, a guy like that you could bring in, that you could, more of a veteran that's been there, done that, and can get to the playoffs. So, but I really think they need to look at it this year.
Here, Reed says that it's a 5. Look at this. Gosh.
Yep.
5.6 million option on Vance. It's been fun. The Vanimal was great to watch. The stiff arm in Tampa Bay was epic. See you later.
My question is this: can you replace him for less?
I would re-sign Nick Vannett. I'd take that money and give it to Nick Vannett. Would not demand, I don't think, in his first year of his contract, $5.6 million. Do you?
Probably not, but you're going to have to invest some in him as you go with it. Then just push it off to later.
Yeah, I would not bring back Vance McDonald. It's just too much for me personally. So, and Melvin asked a good question. Will we have enough cap room for Ebron? No. They would have to. I don't. You get people forget how every year these players that are not even considered to be great, they just get paid more and more every year. You know, they get paid more and more every year, and the Steelers are not going to have a ton of money available to them. Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger could renegotiate a contract. Joe Hayden could move money around in his. Trying to think who else. Pouncey got a new deal last year. They could cut ties with Ramon Foster. You guys think that should happen?
Yeah, I think it's time, and I love the big ragu, but I think it's. I think here you go.
He knows it too. He based on his interview after the game in Baltimore, he knows that the Steelers have to do it based on his age, his production, and his salary.
Yeah, and he's been a great member of the team. but it runs out on everyone. So I haven't heard this. I heard a talk of a Jesse James reunion. I didn't even think to see how he did in Detroit.
He did not do much, even when Hawkinson ended up going out.
So let me ask you, we'll have plenty of time to talk about this, but since we're talking about, now we're back to hardcore Steeler talk. How do you handle Bud Dupree? So do you want him back? Do you want him back? If you do want him back, how? You going to give him a long-term deal and pay him a buttload of money? Or are you going to give him a franchise tag, the transition tag? Bryan, what are you doing?
Well, I've heard rumors that you might be looking at $16 million for Bud Dupree, and I'd like to have him back, but that's a lot. I mean,
for what, a franchise tag?
Yeah, a franchise tag.
Well, here's the other thing, and this is something that I'm working on to get to Jeff. I don't know when we'll run the article. If Jeff was paying attention to when Lance was texting me today, this is something that's not out of the realm. Yeah. This is something that is not out of the realm of possibility of Bud Dupree could make the argument that because the Steelers play a 3-4, not a 4-3, that he should be tagged as a defensive end and not a linebacker. Because the way it's set up through the CBA, it's based on a 4-3, and they have all linebackers the same. And as we know as Steeler fans, an outside linebacker and an inside linebacker are not the same. So an outside linebacker is more like a defensive end from a 4-3 defense. So if he makes the argument and can win the argument that he's a defensive end, that's $3 more million. That's like $19.4 million for a franchise tag for a defensive end.
I want him, but not to dismantle the team. Not like the Flacco deal of 2014 or whatever, 2013, where you took a step back by giving somebody that much money. And he's not a QB.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Here's
I've got an answer.
Okay.
Jesse James, 16 receptions for 142 yards, 0 touchdowns. First season of his NFL career with no touchdowns.
And Matthew Stafford
got paid.
Yeah. And the Steelers will get that'll enter into their comp pick for next year, won't it?
No, that enters in for this year. He is who cancels Steven Nelson.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because this is not the spirit. Great questions. Not the spirit of the hangover, though. I mean, not the hangover. This is the after party.
After party.
And so here's my question to you guys. What Steeler on the 2019 roster do you relate to the most? If you had to relate to one of these, well,
wow, Jeff hated that question so much that he decided he's just out of here.
Wow, I don't know whether I should be offended or not.
I don't know because he sends the emails. I don't know if he can come back. So how easy that is for him to do. Someone you relate to. Hey,
he's coming back.
He's coming. He's going to be on the bottom. Watch this.
But like I said, Dave, I don't know what I did to Jeff. Why does Jeff hate me so much?
What did you do to me? What did you do?
You just disappeared when I asked you the question.
I don't know if I can handle it.
I got booted. I got booted out of my own show. How does that happen?
So who do you
relate to? Answer? What did you guys answer?
You were
making fun of me while I was gone. Exactly.
Yeah.
You guys are a bunch of pricks.
I'll go.
At least we're not wangs.
That's true.
I'll go. Zach Banner.
Okay, you want to elaborate?
Just because the thing with Zach Banner is he reminds me of how I kind of was when I played football, and it was what my coaches, didn't understand is that I wasn't a mean guy off the field. That I was just, and even when I went out there, it was my job to block you. That's the way I looked at it. That I was just kind of a goofball. And that's definitely Zach Banner. He's just out there having a good time. He's just having fun. I mean, did you guys see his Christmas thing out on the streets?
Oh yeah,
that video.
That was good. He's he's definitely very sarcastic, and that's what makes it good.
And he got to a point where he just didn't care that much for football anymore, but he refound his love for it. I could totally relate to that based on your own situations and whatnot. I just feel like I kind of relate to where he comes from. I don't know.
Bryan, what's your answer? Or do you want me to go?
You go ahead.
In a lot of ways, there's a lot of not this year, but last year, when they would interview Ben and they would ask him about having all these young teammates, and he'd be like, "Look, I don't know these video games. I don't know this music they play." Like that's the way I feel when you follow Juju on social media, and he's playing these games. I've never played Fortnite in my life. I know of the game because I'm a teacher and I'm around these type of kids all day. But my kids don't play these games, and the music that they listen to, I don't know these artists that they're referring to. And so in that regard, whenever he was talking, yeah, that'd probably be me if I was in the locker room, just listening to my Jimmy Buffett on my headphones and everyone else is listening to all this other stuff and they're playing video games. So I'll have to go with that. Bryan, what about you?
Well, this is I came up with a question and I really don't even have a good answer for it. But if I was going to relate to somebody on this team, I would probably say that it would be Ramon Foster. And a lot of the reasons that you said about Ben Roethlisberger is just the veteran guy that might not have the skills as everybody else, but he's still going to work harder than anybody else in the room. And eventually he's going to be undrafted. He's going to come in there and he's going to get noticed with hard work. And that's something that I always, that's been passed down from my father to me. I just feel work ethic with Ramon Foster. And I think I just relate to this guy for some reason. Plus he's got the nickname Ragu and I like spaghetti sauce.
Wes with the answer of the segment. I mean, if we're being completely honest, Dante Moncrief, because I suck at football.
You know what?
And they were telling me that I should have said 2018 Boswell because I couldn't kick either, and things like that. They had some good answers, but right now I just kind of want to be like with Jeff down there. I was going to say you got to wear a hat, Jeff, because now I can see your bald spot.
If we had a Pro Bowl team, if we had an all-star team of commenters, I would actually put Wes on it for 2019.
Hey, you guys,
what if we did that for the next preview after party?
Yeah, we could have our BTSC awards.
I tell you what, Wes brings his stats to Stat Geek, man. He's right there. He's as much a part of the show as we are. He's on it.
There you go. We should go ahead.
Well, Brayton Barnes has a good answer too. He said injury-prone James Conner because the Steelers keep breaking my heart. No, that's.
I'm surprised Bryan didn't bust into song there.
Connor's breaking my heart. He couldn't if he
Someone
tried.
Take that off screen. Mine's not working.
It's off. It just sometimes when you're the one who clicks it lags a little bit. Hey, Felicia's back. I haven't seen Felicia. Someone was asking for her later. She says Mike Tomlin.
Either love me or hate me. I'm not going anywhere.
Now, Felicia had a comment earlier that was probably one of the most flattering things anybody said about me, saying that I'm kind of like that uncle that you take out in public and he's just going to talk to everybody and embarrass you a little bit, but you still love him. The lovable uncle that embarrasses you. I guess that's me.
How did I miss that one?
It was
all right. So you guys are gonna have to think about some categories here for the BTSC awards, the podcast awards, and some of the people that are always in, all the people always in the live chat, always participating, always there. We'll think of that. Tune in next week. That'll be a big one. So, anything else, guys, before we call it a show?
Michael O'Malley, I saw you last show and I saw you this one. He likes the mic setup that I don't have the mic blocking my ugly face like you guys do.
Hey, you can't see my mic.
Well, you can't even see his mic.
Yeah.
So I don't care. All right.
I'm sorry,
Hey,
the next time we get some money, I'll buy people some boom mics and all that. Whatever you want to call it.
See, because technically it wasn't Steeler stuff, but that's what my wife went for this year. She's like, "Oh, I'll get you some accessories for podcasting." So
I'm in a different spot every week, so don't get me a boom mic.
Okay.
unless you get somebody to just like stand over me with a boom mic. Like you can send one of your kids. They have to stand in my house.
That's what I thought you were going to do.
So, all right, gentlemen, good show. Look ahead to the BTSC Awards next week. Hopefully we can get that done for you. For all those people that never miss a show, we'll do that again in the after party. We have over 100 people right now watching this show. So make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel as always. You guys are what makes this show, and I'm talking about the live chat. So we appreciate all the people that hang around. This will be on audio platforms tomorrow at noon. Check it out. And make sure you check out Lance tomorrow. Bryan is supposed to be doing a new show tomorrow. He doesn't know what time. They can't coincide with each other, but yet he hasn't talked to the producer of the podcast yet. So that would be me. We'll have to figure that out. So in the meantime, we'll see you next week for another episode of the Steelers Preview, the After Party.